She's not the only one speaking out. Roger Bonds, Diddy's former bodyguard, also recently confirmed the abuse. Take a look.
How many times did you personally witness him be violent towards women?
Around 4 or 5 times.
Was that all with Cassie, or was it Cassie and other women?
I seen him with Cassie, and I seen him with Kim Porter, his kid's mother.
All right. People come out the woodwork now. Once Cassie put a little crack in that dam, it's just overflowing now. Armand, what do you think?
I believe him, and people want to know, like, why he didn't do more. And when I watched the interview, I was thinking, well, why didn't you do more? Like, why didn't you do more to step in? But I had to think about it. His job was to protect Diddy, and he was getting paid. So he could only do so much. And he made something very clear in the interview. He said, listen, I would try to talk to Cassie. Many people would try to tell her stuff. And what would end up happening is it would backfire on us, because then she would go back and get cool with Diddy and tell him what we told her. And then he would call us and be upset. So at that point, I need to back off. And I'm with him on that. So at the end of the day, he was in between a rock and a hard place, but I definitely believe everything that he's saying.
Okay, Al, what are your thoughts?
Let me tell you something, Claudia and Armand. This is very damaging. I mean, this is super damaging to Diddy and his case. We're going to hear more from this bodyguard, because these are the types of people that Homeland Security and the federal agencies will call on to share their stories. And their stories are more credible than anybody else's. Everybody knows that bodyguards, as well as drivers, are the most credible sources for violence or behavior of a particular individual. Now, people have asked, what about the NDA? Because he's not supposed to be talking or sharing these experiences. Remember, NDAs work great, but they don't work great when it's a criminal investigation. And in this case, because it's a criminal investigation, the NDA does not work. Now, listen, bodyguards are the closest to you. They spend the most time with you. They are frontline with unfavorable or unfiltered behaviors. They usually are the first and only witnesses of behaviors that are described by people like Diddy. They have a longevity of relationship with the person like Diddy. And they are also, because they are bodyguards, always involved in crisis. Those are the main reasons why anything that comes out of his mouth will not only be trusted and believed, but also used to support to put that man in jail.
Mrs. Burns says it makes him look weird. Why didn't he call the police? And Bernice Johnson said, why is he speaking about it now? He did nothing before. That's not necessarily true, because even Cassie and Annika is saying the same thing I'm about to say. Cassie named him in her lawsuit, and she said that he did try helping her. Listen, a lot of times, we've all had friends that complain to us about how bad their boyfriend or their girlfriend is. And we sit there, we be like, okay, what time we ride? And I got your back. And then a week goes by, and then they kind of made up. And then that person hates you because you had their back. Or they look at you funny. So I understand that. Imagine getting paid and that you're on the payroll. I get his conflict, but I do like that she did say earlier that he did try to help her. So it's not like he's just jumping on this clout train and just saying it now. He did try behind closed doors. So I think that says
And
a
let
lot.
me add to this real quick. And that goes to show that he did try to help her. And she went back and told him what, he would tell her. So she respected him. So I don't think the people in the comments are trying to make it seem like he didn't do enough. He did enough, and she recognized that he did enough.
And I also want people to recognize, like, the way you think now, being in a healthy situation, is not the way you think when you're in an abusive situation. No one starts out the gate with punching you in your face. They start with little things, and they get control of your mind first and your will, actually, and then they work on the body. And there's no way, like, no one comes out the gate with that. So I think this has been years of working on Cassie and grooming her. So